I became a Sword Art Online VR beta tester, and it was absolutely insane. So let's full dive right into it. The dream is coming true, because we can finally full dive into the world of Sword Art Online inside virtual reality. And although we have seen many big companies that try to achieve it, I can almost still not believe how good it really is. Now, the game that you're seeing right now is the actual Sword Art Online VR gameplay from the beta test itself. And as you can tell, the makers went all out on this project. From the smallest details, like the login screen, to even the background music and the famous SAO interface, so that you can summon all the items like swords, daggers, and others that you know from the show. And yes, you can even check that there's no existing logout button. So it is unbelievable that it is really here. Now, for people who don't know, this VR game is based on one of the world's most popular animes of all time, where our main hero, who goes by the gamer name Kirito, uses this crazy VR headset to dive into the world of Aincrad. And here, he quickly finds out that he is stuck inside the game itself, with the only way out to clear all of the 100 floors. And of course, making sure he is staying alive in the process. And ever since this anime launched, many fans have dreamed of one day playing SAO in real life, or even just experiencing the insane futuristic technology like that of the full dive Nervegear. Keep in mind that the headset itself is not there yet, and we have discussed its future potential many times on this channel already. But the good news is that you won't need the crazy VR Nervegear, since this beta test will be available for all mainstream headsets. That means that you can also become a beta tester yourself. Now, if you want to try it out, you can find a demo version on SideQuest under the name Subspace Hunter. And for those people who don't know how to use SideQuest or how to install the game itself, I made a step-by-step walkthrough for the entire process. So I'll link that in the top right corner and in the description below. But getting back into it, the name of the game might still change in the future, mainly because of the protection of the original anime, of course. And another important and very positive point is that this demo is completely free, although it does give you very limited access to the actual experience. You could almost see this demo more like an alpha test compared to the full beta test that you saw before, which you're getting access to only the basics, like the interactive user interface, the items like swords, and the capability to fight some enemies both in VR as well as augmented reality. That makes it kind of like a hybrid between full dive and the Ogma from the Sword Art Online movie. But it also means that you won't have full access to the virtual reality SAO world itself, and instead you will be stuck inside a blue VR space. Even so, I think it is still an absolute amazing experience that you can try out for yourself right now. And if you always wanted to feel like Kirito and Asuna, then this is your true first chance to do so. But if you don't want to wait and want directly to get a full experience, then there are also some other options if you own a VR headset. Think about the possibilities in the VR chat world that is known as Project Aincrad, and where we previously already mentioned this one before. This team is highly passionate in making and trying to recreate the Sword Art Online world completely from the ground up, and that hard work is actually coming with some pretty awesome results. Although it is far from perfect and still leaps away of the beta test from Subspace Hunter that we showed earlier, it is still a great option for those who can't wait. The same goes if you just want to use the swords or items, or even just the interface of SAO inside VR, because this is already possible right now inside some of your most favorite VR games. But before we get into that, a quick word from the company that made this video possible. If you are wearing glasses or lenses in your day-to-day life, you might have already experienced some problems using your VR headset comfortably. Then you should definitely check out the lenses of the company named VR Wave, because with it, you can get your own eye prescription and directly insert them into your VR headset, so that you can see every detail possible inside your VR experience. And they have lenses for every single headset possible, from the Quest headsets to the new PlayStation VR 2. And you can use the code VRelity for a 5% discount on all your purchases. Now, if you're interested, I'll leave a link for you guys in the description below. And with that said, let's get right back into it. This can be done through a popular mod in, for example, Blade and Sorcery. And you might even have seen this one already, because people really love it beyond compare. In it, you can easily install and implement it to fit perfectly in the original gameplay. Of course, this option is also completely free. And they even go so far to give the swords the power that we see in the anime, and so much more. Secondly, they also put a lot of attention to detail when it comes to the menu and its items. So you can use things like healing crystals and even teleportation whenever you want to, making it yet yet again another great addition to your collection if you would rather just want to try out some skills and the UI of Sword Art Online. But as we all know, there is really nothing that compares to a true full dive experience. So Subspace Hunter is the absolute most insane project we have seen for years. Like, come on, they even created the possibility of using actual sword skills by holding your blade in a certain position, just like we see in the anime, and completely replicating the original environments, almost as if they took it straight out of the show and slapped it on a 3D space. And it makes me so excited to see how this comes alive. Sadly, there are of course also some big downsides. The first one is that the team behind this is very small, so progress can take a long time and might even be postponed indefinitely. This problem can of course be caused by the claiming of the original anime creators. And just to think of it, that all of this hard work will be gone completely would be absolutely devastating. So if that happens, there's always the option to port the entire thing to something like VRChat, and maybe finally creating some competition for Project Aincrad at the same time. Or even better, they could perhaps team up and merge their worlds together to make the true first free Sword Art Online VR world. But that of course is still far in the future. Secondly, Sony did have their own official Sword Art Online experience. Although this was a while ago, it was hosted in VR and was available for only a short period of time. That means it can sadly not be accessed anymore at all. But that does mean that Sony has some assets of the Sword Art Online world laying around, and it makes you wonder why they have still not made a VR title based on this amazing popular anime. Especially when they're going all out with their new PlayStation VR 2, with crazy features like eye tracking and even haptic feedback inside the headset itself. I see what you did there. And it blows my mind, not like an SEO, but literally, that they don't have an official game in the making or have announced anything until this day. Like there's even an official Attack on Titan game coming. But on the other side, that might also give us some hope that there is still the possibility in the future. And thirdly, we also shouldn't forget that the makers behind Genshin Impact are also working on developing a Sword Art Online VR world, or at least a world based on its story. And with no release date known yet, or any big assets to show off, it does give still a glimpse of hope next to the short release from Sony, or the lovely Honey Days VR experience that we should all forget about as soon as possible. But don't underestimate the possibilities yet though, because with other big metaverse titles like Roblox now also joining virtual reality, I can only expect that more people and companies will try to start and recreate Aincrad within virtual reality. And of course still having our fingers crossed in the meantime that Sony announces an official game themselves, because let's be honest, it would absolutely sell out everywhere and might even cause some people to buy a virtual reality headset in the first place. But if you want to know how crazy close we are to creating the Nervegear in real life, then click on the video you see on screen right now to make sure you don't miss out.